Welcome to Yildiz Readings 5D, a hub in which we cover your zodiacs, astrology, twin flame path, moon energy, and more. Should you need a booking, you can go to the link below. And for all information relating to our psychic tarot extension, the information is in the box below. Without further ado, let's take a look at what I see coming through for your zodiac sign. Were we wrapping up 2022? More than likely. We did have Mars, the planet of war, obsession, passion, sitting in the house of Gemini from August last year, where it did then ingress into the house of Cancer, which it is deemed in as detriment, but many of us are super excited at the fact that we get a break of that. Separately, we had Saturn shifting into the house of Pisces, which occurred on the 7th of March, 2023. It will remain there in the house until 2025. Separately, our big Pluto ingress into the house of Aquarius did occur last month. This also is going to be a huge subject coming in the collective due to the fact it's going to shift between Capricorn and Aquarius, wrapping up its karmic cycle. It can feel a little bit testing, especially now because it was at the 29-degree point, shifting into 0 degrees of Aquarius. We're still trying to get our footings and getting the PDF of what subjects are going to be really looked at with great detail and really cast out because they're simply not working. Let's take a look at how this month is going to be shaped for us and what we need to be prepared for. Now, what can April bring? Number one, we do have an eclipse occurring this month. Number two, we do have Mercury moving retrograde. We're going to feel that mid-month. We also have Mars sitting in the house of Cancer. That can bring themes of emotions to the surface, and we do need to try and be patient. And I definitely see some themes really playing out in a sense of new beginnings. And I found it really interesting at the fact that we had a new moon last month and we're having another new moon in Aries in two sets. So I really felt as though we were going to start something brand new, have an inkling of it, but really not get the full, momentum of it happening. And I do feel we're going to have more clues to this, but it really started to set the stage last month. And so wherever that Aries placement is for each zodiac, which I'll dive into, what I'm seeing is this hybrid partial eclipse that is going to be occurring on the 20th of April, 2023. And I feel it's important, don't make any major decisions if you can. Moon is very emotional. It can be home, family, mother, intuitive energy. And Sun is the identity, the logic, and generally speaking through that, we tend to not have either. So, whereby we can delay making decisions, especially because it's already entering into that shadow phase of Mercury retrograde in the house of Taurus. I think it's really important to, I would say, be optimistic, but be cautious. Really, dot your I's and cross your T's. You could feel that some blessings are coming back to you from the past, but it also can be a time where we're going backwards to go forward simultaneously. But I do see this is a brand new chapter. So I would say by mid-month, try to have your ducks in a row. Try and keep as organised as possible and be aware of those inkling frustrations and tension points where we do have that first eclipse of the year, which is a hybrid. We also are having a full moon in the house of Libra. And I think that's pretty interesting because both the axis of Libra and Aries will be coming about later in the year as the nodes move. And they tend to set the tone of what we have astrologically happening globally. And I did say really at a collective level that feminines do need to be very cautious of how they show up in society, of their safety, their wellness, and being that we're entering April with Mars in the house of Cancer, practice safety, practice self-awareness, try to build people up, try to not pull them down, but very much protect yourself where need be. As we do move into the month of April, we are in the vibration of angel number 4. Separately, we can also look to number 11 for added guidance, as we do have it being the 4th month in 2023, breaking down to an 11. Now, what I see coming through for this is we can have this sense that we are feeling very alone, that we're feeling very isolated. This particularly could be because Mars is in the house of Cancer. And so with our endeavors, with our hopes, with our feelings, we can particularly really feel misunderstood. Now, 11 is a brand new chapter. We can feel a little bit out of our depth, but know everything is very divinely guided. Alignment is key, but it's a brand new chapter. So again, the tedious frequency of the precipice of change can feel like you are a giraffe trying to gain its bearings. Know that you're not alone and that help is coming. You are going to be attracting in brand new situations. And even if you do feel out of your depth, know that universe has your back. It is the precipice of change that does make us feel very tense. Trust the process. We can feel misunderstood with our feelings, our emotions. And again, Mars can bring volatility to those dynamics. So knowing where Mars in Cancer falls in your chart could be pretty key. And also really getting prepared, because we do have an eclipse this month. And so where you're feeling that there is lack, there are also going to be opportunities. And it's really about getting into alignment, seeking out those situations, having that attention in those areas of your life and enhancing them where need be. The burning question on all of our lips may be, is this month going to be any better? Are we ready? Are we prepared? And what is hidden? And I'm going to cover all of that inside of your zodiac. I will give you tips where I feel are necessary inside of any heavy energy that does potentially come through. And separately, you can book a private session or join a YouTube membership. Let's take a look at your zodiac sign and all the various areas that can play out this month for you. Hi, beautiful Taurus. Let's take a look at your zodiac sign and what I see coming through for you. Between image changes, transformations, maybe even second guessing yourself, as well as our eclipse and Mercury retrograde. This is going to be one heck of a month. Now, love. What do I see coming through for you in love? I do feel confidence is really going to come out, and I feel you could be really going through a change in your life at this point in time, and I feel there could be a lot of confidence. People could be seeing you in a very positive light. You could be networking quite a bit. And I also feel there was confusion with communication. This could have been lack of communication in love. Value systems coming up, wanting independence and neediness could have come about. And that was because Mars was in your second house. I do feel many of you are wanting to get fit and wanting to get your body in shape. Some of you also are feeling that you were stuck in a rut. And I really do predict, especially for those of you that are single, Pluto transitioned into Aquarius. It's almost like no sooner do you get your life together, does this individual come back? But it's very divinely guided, because we do have between now and next month, especially as the nodes move, you can find love has deeply transformed. And that's for singles and couples. And I definitely feel there is an opportunity for reconciliations for those that are single, or for meeting of a new connection and being open and attracting it in. I definitely feel you're on a new mission. I definitely feel you're growing, okay? That's how it's feeling, very growing. If you are inside of a relationship that you feel is really outdated, there is a possibility here during this year that you may pull the pin, but it will more be for those of you who feel this connection is not relevant to you any longer. I feel you're going to be saving, okay? I feel you're saving. I feel you're networking. I feel you're socializing. There could be some anxiousness around a new beginning, but somehow I do feel you're going to be thrown in the deep end. And you could have multiple opportunities this month, and that's for singles and couples. So be careful there. Brand new opportunities, blast from the past. You could be nervous about a conversation. I feel there's a possibility with your communication style. You could be very heated and passionate about what you say, and you can feel really wary about that. You can feel very up and down. It's like, okay, how do I articulate myself? How do I intellectualize what I'm feeling? I also feel that this ins and outs of love and life, you're trying to iron out creases, but if there are situations that aren't sitting correct with you, I feel your communication style can become a little bit problematic. I also feel there's going to be some sense of obsession. And that can be because Mars is in the house of Cancer. You may also be feeling as though a routine that you had and a way that you were handling love is really changing. I definitely feel, look, be really careful. There could be some surprise pregnancies. There definitely could be a moment here in time where return of love, critiquing it, reviewing it, maybe feeling, you had to be to a high standard or the other person. Whatever these creases are, they're ironing out. And I do particularly feel that different roles are coming up. Number one is you're going to be highly sought out this month. You're also going to be wanting to change your image, your look, your wellness, making conscious decisions, maybe raising your vibration. You also try not to overcommit yourself, because confusion and crosswires in love are possible, but you also can feel very confused. It will only be temporary. And do keep in mind, during this eclipse, it is linking to your 12th house. It can play out a few ways. It can be very psychic, it can be very nervous, it can be wrapping up, it's a brand new chapter. And ultimately, it can be dreams coming true. But whatever this is, whatever this tension point is, it's going to be more intense for you because the eclipse is happening over your 12th house. So you're really going to be thrown in the deep end of a brand new beginning. And it can be deeply exciting, but deeply nerve-wracking. I always say this, once we get purpose, it's like everything starts flowing. You can particularly have a lot of changes in your career, and that's because Pluto has ingressed into your career sector, your purpose sector. For some of you, it could be going into a different, it could be a total different industry. Variety, metaphorically, is the spice of life. And, Uranus and Taurus was really making a lot of squares last year, to your zodiac sign. So you may have felt that making those changes was really impossible. And it was really putting a zodiac sign, your zodiac sign in particular, through the ringer where it comes to your notion of life. Okay, so your vibration in your zodiac sign is to build stability. It's the how would I say it? It's frugal. It will spend on things that they know is going to stand the test of time. You are the pyramid. You are you're the builder. Okay. And we saw that happening in society where, we'd start something and then things were changing. They'd fall down. That wasn't working. And we saw that over the last 4 years. Your zodiac sign this year and during this transit, it's totally transformed you. It's not that you won't feel anxious by throwing caution to the wind and giving something a shot. It's that's what it's going to require of you within your career sector, within your purpose sector. But the bonus is it's at 0 degrees at the moment, Pluto is. I would say be careful of romantic liaisons at work. B, I would say the other thing you're going to be able to achieve inside of your career zone is going up the ladder, making the changes that are necessary. If something isn't healthy for you, actually exiting stage, not remaining in unhealthy environments, not avoiding things, but definitely, not avoiding the things that need changing, be it it's going and upskilling your education, be it it's transitioning up a level or leaving a position. These are the things that will come up. So, it could have been that you were at home and you were caring for your children and now you're back at work. So these changes that you've wanted to make and that are necessary to happen are going to crop up in your career sector. Some of you may have done some upskilling, and again, Pluto will ingress back into Capricorn and it can come back again where we need to re-look at it. Some of you may have returned to an old place of employment and then exited stage, or vice versa. I also see with your management style, if you do move to management, what you are going to be doing is creating structures and systems, and slow and steady wins the race. It can be a slow dynamic. And I also feel you are on a mission. You're definitely going to be busy this month. Mars in your third house is going to have you doing a lot, but don't burn yourself out. Try to also not lose your cool. This can be short trips back and forward. It can be lots of conversations on the phone, paperwork, documentation. Really get a journal and write down what you need to achieve. You are going to have the energy to do that, and you can be on your feet quite a bit. I do feel there's an opportunity by the 11th onwards to gain more resources, but we definitely will talk about that as we do proceed forward. Some of you, it could directly be a pay rise. Now, in your wellness zone, we do have the pink moon, full moon in Libra that is occurring, and you can wrap up a cycle. You can decide that you are wanting to turn over a new leaf with your diet. It could be that foods aren't working for you and you're like, right, I've got to deal with this. But it also can be a routine that you're physically doing is shifting. Diet, exercise, health, wellness, capacity. I do feel within your wellness, you do need to be careful of your throat chakra this month. Mercury is retrograding. Venus will be in Gemini. There is a possibility from the 11th onwards, emotional eating is there. Eating on the run. I also feel you need to be very careful of pacifiers. I don't know why I'm getting it, especially if you're at work and it's like you've turned up and you're intoxicated. There seems to be something that could really bring you undone there. But with the 12th house linking in this eclipse coming, what I would say is about a week in and a week out of that eclipse, a lot of hydration, keeping hydrated, reducing your stress levels, guided meditation prior and after. But you may get nervous, okay? So there can be some nervousness, no extremes with caffeine, and that can help you be grounded. And know that a new beginning is coming. Know that you won't need to get stuck. You can be very nostalgic during that time. I do feel for those of you that have children, there can be frustration. I do feel some of you could have a surprise pregnancy. I do feel also some of your pastimes may be reevaluated. That can be your food, your diet, social activities if you're going to a gym. But I definitely would look after, your eating and your emotions during this transit. It could be eating on the run, like I mentioned. Love also can bring triggers and crosswires. And there also could be a dynamic around family and home. I do feel some of you are working hard so that you can achieve a goal. And that can be fun. It may be like financial independence of some description, could be saving for a house. But I would say go easy on yourself. If you are wanting to make any changes with your hair, your makeup, I would probably delay till next month. I mean, you're going to be passionate about it. You're going to, let's get a tattoo. Worst time you could do it. Let's get permanent cosmetic makeup. Probably not a good time to do it. Wait, sit with it, meditate upon it. Mercury will go retrograde in your zodiac. You with your routine, you could be more hectic. It's better to be fluid during that time and flexible. So it's like, get all your commitments done in the first 2 to 3 weeks max. Then after that, expect the unexpected. You're going to be like Cinderella with too many parties to go to. Let's put it that way. Now, pay rises are very possible in the first 2 weeks. After such, you may find that there can be confusion with what you're going to be getting, confusion with what you're spending things on. So I would take stock all through the month of your expenditure. And that is because there can be this desire to indulge in hair and makeup and, things that you're wanting. If you have purchased anything, there can be delays as we reach mid-month for those goods to return to you. I would also say if you are buying anything technology or other, I would more than likely wait till the following month. If you have no choice but to do such, you have to do what you're going to do. I also feel drive very carefully because there can be some trouble that you can get yourself in, especially if you're in a hurry. Be very aware, especially if we're listening to music and we're driving and we're emotional. There could be some drama there. You can be a little bit accident prone as well, so just be wary of such. Okay, making sure you're locking your car, making sure that you have your insurances up to date for vehicles and white goods and things to that degree. I do feel you're going to create a savings plan, and I feel, especially where it comes to your wealth creation, I feel some of you are really honing in on a particular goal. And so Saturn's going to aid you with making that goal achievable. Things can just go a little bit pear-shaped this month, but you could have some lucky wins and you can have lady luck on your side. So be optimistic. Make sure to check your bank accounts, in and out of this month because of Mercury retrograde. Wages can come in late. And keep stock of what you're doing, especially if you're a contractor and you're working for a company and it's what you're going here and there. Make sure to jot that down and to know really where you're at, because we can become forgetful. Now, entering into this month, we are having the full moon in the house of Libra on the 6th of April 2023. Now, collectively, we can find that we are looking at our wellness. Something can be coming to a head. We can have such in the media. Very separately, what we can find within our own personal zodiacs is key themes relating to wellness, love, abundance, balance, and justice. I do feel, as we do look at this at a collective level, I do feel we are going to be really reworking what we can do to keep ourselves grounded, keep ourselves healthy, and to find the most stable way to have a brand new beginning without being codependent. Due to the fact the next moon is going to be a hybrid eclipse, which I'll get into in a moment. Let's take a look at how this links to your zodiac sign and what I see coming up for you with the full moon in Libra on the 6th of April 2023. Okay, now this full moon can be an interesting one. It is a pink moon. It is going to give us the messages of what we'll receive when the nodes move later. And it can be a permanent frequency that we directly are dealing with obviously differences with the surrounding transits. But the color and the themes can be coming through with this moon. So it can be a wrap up and an ending. Some of you could be tying up a loose end to do with your wellness. Some of you, a routine you were doing or a habit or a pattern you had, you're going to be letting go of it. This could be with your eating, your diet. Libra can be relating to health. It also can link to pets. So it could be that a pet transitions over. It might be an anniversary of such. You may get a new pet. This could be a goldfish or a dog or a cat. I also feel to look after your wellness around that time because your aura can be down. You can get a bit run down and emotional. And there can be a subject that does come up to do with family and mother. Now, the very first eclipse of the year has come in two sets. The moon is deemed as a black moon is because we had two new moons in one set being Aries. Now, this is the first eclipse of the year, being a hybrid partial solar eclipse in Aries on the 20th of April 2023. Now, it's also at the critical degrees, and being a new moon, I do particularly feel this can be something quite radically changing very quickly, especially because this is your first house of self. This could be A time in which with Mercury retrograde, don't do anything drastic when it does come to your hair, your makeup, plastic surgery. I would pause. Now, Mars wants to go in where, it wants to move forward. It's in a hurry. This would be the time where benefits from the past can come. People can appreciate you. You have large revelations to do with yourself. Also, where you're living, feeling, sensing, intuition can come up. But I would say don't rush. I do particularly feel, because we do have situations retrograding at this point, and this is eclipse, as much as possible, we may find that there's more information coming to us, and this can really aid us through having that brand new direction and confidence for the future. I do particularly feel for you at a personal level, this could be anything to the degree of gaining confidence, having clarity, making a conscious choice of a brand new way that you're going to be, defying the odds, so to speak, not putting up with rubbish. This also could be image changes, quite radically so. And I do particularly feel you could be putting your foot down and saying, I know what I want out of life and I'm going to go and get it. Status also can come into this. So you could go to rags to riches, riches to fame. Again, I would take time with that. This also can be engagements, and personal changes that you physically go through your own personal status. But I do feel it can be greatly healing and confidence can resurface yet again. Don't be surprised if you do go down the rabbit hole of emotions during it, but it is really going to set the stage. And once we unpack and digest what that is, you may very well find that as we proceed through the next 6 months into 2025, really, because the nodes will be shifting by such that new tone for your life, both with your marriages, contracts, partnerships, and yourself, you versus other people, is going to look extremely different. Get ready for that 180, baby. Now, this hybrid partial solar eclipse in Aries, I feel like, that bouncing ball that kind of bounces between the words. Yeah. On the 20th, we do have Mercury. The day after, retrograding, well and truly will be feeling it. So Mercury and Taurus during this eclipse, you versus brand new beginnings, I'm telling you. Now, the difficulty will be Pluto making a square to this eclipse. So I would give it a few days either side. This eclipse links to your 12th house. This can be gurus. You could become very psychic during this time. I would say, if anything, it can be like no light, no light. It's almost like an eclipse, obviously. Emotions and old emotions that were really suppressed could come up. Nervousness is a possibility. Meeting a spiritual guru or becoming one, but having an ending and a new beginning. And that is in your life, like literally doing a 180 and your life being totally something different. Maybe because of a decision, maybe because of an outcome. I definitely feel this is a brand new beginning for you. You could be nervous, but you also could be so mission orientated that it's almost like you felt that the globe was a speck and then you realized it was the world, and that's your dream. So whatever this is, it's going to be big. Brand new beginnings, big revelations, brand new chapters. I wish you the very best. Now, this can be linking to your 3rd house, Mars and Cancer. So Mars and Cancer, like I mentioned previously, can make us emotional. Mars wants to go forward. Cancer can be, I need to feel it out. And so trying to find harmony between both can be a little bit difficult. I would say be really careful with your communication style. No speeding when you're driving, especially because Mercury is retrograding. For your zodiac in particular, you need to be very cautious to do with that. You can be very obsessed with having a chat, talking. It can be more empathetic and understanding to a degree. But I would say you can be very vocal when people are trying to walk over you. So try to keep the harmony with that and try to not give your power away. And don't burn the candle at both ends. Know your limit. Now, Mercury enters Taurus on the 3rd of April, 2023. This is your 1st house placement. It's personal. I would be really careful. I wouldn't be surprised if people were gossiping about you. I'll just be honest. Mercury's in Taurus. You're a Taurian. Venus is in Taurus up until the 11th. So the first 11 days, it can be juicy. You also can be looking at your appearance. Maybe, you're exercising, but you're going to have a very busy schedule. You also can be doing a lot of things to enhance the way you are showing up in your career, the way people see you. And you can be really gorgeous at this point in time. So shine bright like a diamond. As it retrogrades, however, let's give you some tips. From the 21st, during the eclipse, because the eclipse energy is going to last, right? You need to be patient with yourself. If you overscheduled yourself, who you thought you were going to be, what your role was going to be, is going to be very different. When we go retrograde, this can be the routine that you do. It gets messy. The things that you say get misinterpreted. The things that you think end up being totally something different. So just be really open-minded, be very flexible. The surfboard, you're on it, you're going backwards. Okay, so it's talking to people of the past, working through those differences, misunderstandings ironed out with the creases. Mercury is not fun. It's not the worst transit on the planet. I do predict we could have some funky weather. I would say that, especially drama with agricultural trade. It could be, issues with banks, issues with trade, issues with agriculture. And that can be for just very natural reasons. It may be like a truck rolled over and we can't get, our white goods or something. So just bear in mind with that. Logins especially, be very careful. Be careful what you say and be patient. I don't make any drastic changes to your hair. Anything permanent you don't want to do. You don't want to go to extremes there. You also could feel that people are maybe judging you. And then it can turn out to be something totally different. But your logic, your thinking of how your life is going to be, you're going to be reworking with it. If you find it challenging, you may just show yourself that you have stronger shoulders than you think. So best of luck for you. Let's take a look at some of the psychic messages I have for your zodiac sign. And then if you do wish to get the extension, you can go through to our YouTube membership or read the information below for the Psychic Tarot extension. Without further ado, let's take a look at your psychic update and what I see coming through for you. I honestly feel you have this in the bag. Why do I say that? Because you have, like I mentioned, over the last few years had squares to your zodiac. Your zodiac naturally is like a pyramid. It likes to build situations up in life for sustainability. And the transits weren't helping you do that. You spiritually and psychically tuning into your zodiac, I think you're more than capable. I think you've evolved over the years, and I think people's perception of you as a Taurian is going to be so, I think they're going to be really surprised. I think you're going to be really surprised of your capacity and what you can handle. I also feel, I get this skip in your step. I see this big happy smile. I get this skip in your step that's coming. I get excitement to do with new opportunities, and then I see an absolute pause. And that pause is almost like the full card in tarot, and you've landed on a mountain and you're like, wow, I made it up here. Okay. And then they're like, guess what? It's time to jump. And I don't mean that physically. Okay. Use logic. And it's more the analogy of going, okay, we have this new opportunity for you. And you're like, how the heck did I get here? How the heck am I able to? Can I? Therapy also from the 12th house is possible. So if you felt you were really stuck and it was really blocking you from moving forward, then would be the time to look at that and go, this is hindering my life. I need to do something about this. But I definitely see psychically some very exciting new opportunity is going to come for you. You've got to go into the heart space and choose what's correct for you. And if you feel it's right, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. It's what you feel is right. I do feel there has been, over the years, some difficulties maybe with family or children. I also feel any traumas you guys were dealing with relating to love, previous connections. It's been hard. It has been hard for you. Some of you are worried about the wellness of some particular individuals. You may have had, unwell children, partners that were maybe critical. I see some of you studying. It's almost like, it's so funny. I'm being shown an industry you're in. I had this conversation with a teacher years ago, and I was quite young on in the piece. I was very determined and knew exactly what I wanted to be. But the subjects that I was really interested in did not match. And she was like, but they're different subjects. And I was like, well, why can't we be, a little bit like the Gemini energy? Why can't we have different interests? Doesn't mean to say our desire isn't for a particular career. I see you having different facets of yourself. And you yourself maybe are wondering, how can they all merge? And I do feel they can. I feel it's just different elements of who you are as an individual. Some may become a hobby. Some may become a permanency. But I definitely see transitions here. I do see two people, and I have seen this since really, reading into your astrology. I do see two people. Now, I do particularly feel that there could be two situations here. Now, this can either be that this person has just totally changed. This is how I see things psychically. It's either that this individual has completely transformed, or it is two individuals, two romantic choices. And it won't matter whether you're single or couple. I'm seeing two choices here. I feel you need to go within the heart space to know which one to choose. There's with love, it's love, right? Is there a guarantee with anything? No, but I had a subby say to me, what mountain are you willing to die on? And it's not, okay, let me weigh up the pros and cons of the risk. Where is the feeling at? Because you could weigh the pros and cons up, but then not have that same emotional feeling, and you're going to obsess over them for the rest of your life. So you need to know what your heart says, because your heart won't lie to you. It's just going to tell you what it feels. It doesn't have the ego involved with the mind. The mind tries to, is the mind there to protect us? Yes, because there's ego. I burnt my hand one day, therefore I'm never going to touch the stove. And that means we don't risk then. And I feel this year we're going to make calculated risks, but we could miss out on opportunities if we think too much. I hope to see you through on the other side in our YouTube membership for your Psychic Tarot extension. Come through and take a look what I see coming through for you. I hope to see you through on the other side in our YouTube membership.